Hi, welcome back. I'm Michelle Bernard, and I'm the creator of Paper Coach, which you've been doing now, and we are on week 5 out of the 6 weeks of Paper Coach. So today I'm going to go through week 5 with you, and then we're going to do week 6 next, okay? So today, starting week 5 together. And I am a fitness trainer, a wellness educator for over 30 years. I wrote Lean, Happy, Healthy You, 8 Healthy Habits for Her Happy Life. And in this book, you will understand the 3 areas that we must attend to for well-being, which is the well-being of our minds, our hearts, and our bodies. And in this book, I teach you how to lose 5 to 10 pounds just to get it started, because you can set up a healthy ritual following everything in this book. And I have recorded 11 videos reading this book to you. So go ahead and check that out. And everything you learn in Lean, Happy, Healthy You is also covered in your Paper Coach Wellness Journal and Log. So let's get started. If you're already on week 5, you might already know this. If you're not on week 5, I want you to start with the first video. The first 3 videos of Paper Coach encompass the first week. I set you up for the first week in 3 videos, and then I go to week 4. So you're on your own, 2, 3. And then this is week 5, and then we're gonna do week 6. So let's go. First, we know that we date. We're going to date the page on week 5, so go ahead and do that. And then we do this on every beginning of every week, which is to look at the way I desire to feel this week. This is your aim. And we anchor ourselves to these 3 feelings. So go ahead and look at your list of feeling goals, your meaningful feeling goals, and determine right now how you want to feel this week. Determined. Here are my 3. Determined, beautiful, unwavering. That was easy. You can circle your 3. Please get your Paper Coach on Amazon, and then you can follow along. Otherwise, you can write these down for yourself. And then you can see it says date from 2, and you've done this every single week. So you put the date. Let's just say that you missed a few days. You're going to put the date so that when you look back on this resource, you know exactly when you did it, okay? And that you're really keeping track of everything, every part of the way you move through your life. So you're writing all these dates down. It's very important. All right, our next page, we do this every single week. It says at the very top, if you can see, it says review your aims from last week. This is always good. Take a look at them. You can write the same 3 aims for your wellness aims, and you can write the same 3 aims for your life and work aims. It doesn't matter. Okay? So take a look at last week's and then return to this week, and we're going to write our 3 wellness aims. And you can see that some of the examples would be, I will go to the farmer's market on Saturday morning, and maybe you'll even write what you're going to buy. I will only eat 2 desserts this week, and that could be because you go out to dinner on Friday and Saturday, and you're going to eat 2 desserts, and that's it. All right. If you have done the Lean, Happy, Healthy You with me, you will see that I recommend 2 sort of cheats each week. I don't want you to take this out of context, okay? None of this works out of context. None of it does. If you want to achieve the goal of well-being, you must incorporate and integrate all of the pieces for any of these individual pieces to make sense, okay? It makes sense as a whole, not individually. So I personally have 2 cheat foods, not meals, foods per week. And the rest of the week I eat healthy. So that way for my well-being, I don't have to want or wish or crave or binge. right? That's how we overcome that. And it's worked for me for years. Years. I'm talking about 20 years, 30 years, 20 years probably. So go to that. Go to listen to Lean, Happy, Healthy You so you can understand what I mean by cheats. So you've written your 3 wellness aims, and now we're going to write our 3 life work aims. I just finished my newest book. It's a poetry book, and it's I candidly speak about my love life, my former love life, let's just say that. In this book, it was really fun to write, like a rite of passage. And so one of my life work aims used to be, about a month and a half ago, was to write for an hour a day. So, and I did it every day. So that would be a life work aim. You can get this on Amazon too. There are also videos on YouTube of 10 of those poems that you can watch, and I'd love for you to do it. All right, 3 life work aims. This is so much fun. So all of these things that we're doing, paying attention to our exercise, our well-being, our body, our life, and our work, and our aims in life, is so that we will wake up to how wonderful life is. It's absolutely wonderful. And when you become aware of that by paying attention to it and moving yourself toward it, you really start to appreciate every moment of your life. You know, one of the words that I just cannot stand, I really can't, and that's boredom. There's so much to do. There's so much possibility. There's so much to see, so much to learn, so many people to meet, so many ideas to flesh out and bring to life. I don't like the word boredom. All right, let's move on. All right, we've got my morning routine used to make me feel. Now, my new morning routine feels. So you're going to reflect. You've been doing Paper Coach now 5 weeks, and you're going to reflect. Before you started, or even 2 months ago, your morning routine felt like this. This is how it felt to do it. This is how I felt after it. And you know, during that first week of Paper Coach, you decided on a morning routine that encompasses wellness, rituals, and awarenesses. So you have a new morning routine. And how does it make you feel now to have something more organized? I want you to go ahead and reflect. My morning routine used to make me feel. Now, my morning routine feels. I'll give you time to write. When you're journaling, you're using bullets. You are writing in fragments. You're writing in full sentences, paragraphs. You can write any way you want. Any way you want. In fact, if you leave all of the proper grammar and writing aside, you'll probably really tell the truth when you write in your journal. You'll probably really get down to the heart of the truth, okay? Because there'll be nothing in the way of that, no judgment of self. So write the truth. That's what I want to tell you. You can always come back. In fact, I'd like you to. We're going to go to the next 2 boxes. My evening routine used to make me feel. Now my new evening routine makes me feel. Likewise, you wrote at the very beginning of Paper Coach an evening routine. You organized one based on what's in the beginning, based on a list of ideas that I gave you that you could put into an evening routine. And now you've been living it, and this is your 5th week. How does it make you feel? And how did you feel before? Some things you could say is, I felt rushed at night. You could say, it was hard for me to go to sleep. And now with my new evening routine, it's easier for me to feel sleepy. I feel more relaxed with my new evening routine because I take an Epsom salt bath. I love that. I feel my body feels better because I'm doing 20 minutes of yoga stretches before bed. And before, I was just going to bed and I was waking up stiff. So write in both of those columns how it was before and how it is now. Very interesting story I'd like to tell you. When I lived in New York City and I was, maybe I was about 33, I had my first client at about 9 a.m. and I had a train ride that was 30 minutes. I used to time this thing to the number. I'm always early, but I would be 5 minutes early. I would time it to the number. So I had to be there at 9 o'clock. I knew it would take me 30 minutes on the train, and that was with all delays factored in. So I didn't get to the train till about 8:10, 8:15. So I knew I'd be there with enough time to get dressed for my client, right, to the gym. And so I didn't have to be there till 8:15 to the train. I would wake up at about 7. I can get ready really fast, like 7:45. And I would just be like, we speed rush, like shower, use my fingers to put on my makeup, lipstick, teeth. I just take braids out of my hair and I'm out. Like, it was like speed. And then I would boogie down to the train, wait for, and I felt like this all the time, just like totally rushed, sort of angry about it. It was like an abrupt awakening. And then I would get my uniform on at work because I didn't wear it to work. I'd get it on at work, and it was just sort of like, oh, I need more sleep. I used to always think I need more sleep. So then I had to get up much, much earlier. I was married for a few years and I lived in New Jersey, but I still worked in New York. I had to get up much, much earlier to get into the city. I got up at 4:30 to get into the city. All right. I know, much, much, much earlier. It was so much easier. I got up at 4:30. I had 3 dogs. Took the dogs out, sat and had coffee, got my journal ready because I would write on the train, got ready in my quick fashion, got on the train, journaled, read a book into the city, went to my first client. I was not sleepy at all. I rearranged my whole morning routine to pause, sit, sip slowly my coffee, journal. I journaled on the train for 30 minutes, read a book, wrote out goals, went to work bright-eyed. Getting up earlier actually made me less tired, and organizing a schedule, which is what I do now. I have a schedule in the morning, made me less tired. So I want you to think about organizing your time with well-being rituals for the rest of your being. We're going to move on. In the past, I felt guilt and shame about So in your well-being program in the past, I felt guilt and shame about. I felt guilt and shame about eating uncontrollably. When no one was looking, I would just finish the extra food. I was just ashamed of myself. I ate so much. This is when I was very young, before I first lost weight in my 20s. And I felt ashamed of myself because I didn't know how to stop. I didn't actually know how to stop. So I want you to write about what in your program, and you're telling the truth as no one's going to see it. I have other things I could say too, but they're private. All right? They're private for me that I felt guilt and shame about. So I want you to go through, there's a lot more space here, and I want you to read the right bullets, fragments, write it out as a story. I don't mind. Add an extra page if you want. It means use another journal to add more. This is very important that you write. And then you're going to look at the next column, and now instead of feeling guilty or ashamed, I feel like I have more awareness of food because I've logged and tracked it so well that I understand what it does to my body. So I know how much to have of a certain thing if I want to like overeat a pasta on a certain day or whatever it is, which is rare because I understand that that doesn't make my body feel good. The gluten doesn't make my body feel good. But this has happened from journaling and logging, which is what you're doing with Paper Coach. The more awareness that you get about yourself, about your body, about the way you eat, about the way you digest, about the energy you have, you can make better decisions. And there is not a day living with more awareness about myself that I regret any decision. I feel happier than I've ever felt because I'm aware of my body and my mind, and I'm always paying attention to it. It makes me happier. It makes me more contented, more fulfilled, because I make different choices. I make choices that don't go against me and hurt me. I make choices that support my vision. And that is why I created this for you, and that is why I train other people, because it has lifted and elevated my life. I want that for you. Let's do these 2 questions. My friend, I have left this running because I want you doing this with me and not by yourself. All right? I want you looking at yourself with me, not alone. All right? Just to know that I'm here with you. Now we understand we can come back, and we should come back and take a look and write more. The next question though, in the past, I've felt unmotivated about, or in the past I felt unmotivated when. Now I kind of answered that. I felt unmotivated to get up in the morning. I felt so unmotivated. Oh, it's when it's late. Until I changed my schedule because I had to. And it changed everything. I had so much more energy because I had these well-being practices when I woke up to take care and nourish my heart and my mind. And then the second part of the column is now, instead of feeling unmotivated, I just told you both answers. So now here, because that was years ago, but here, I live in Florida here, and I don't have my dogs anymore. I wake up, I wake up around between 6:15 and 6:35. I know those two because I have give me 2 alarms. I have her speak to me things I've typed into her, and she says them to me when I wake up in the morning. So she says something at 6:15 and she says something at 6:35 in case I'm still sleeping. So that I have to get up, and then I have Alexis French, who is my favorite pianist, playing music. I'm like, I love it. Every morning, playing music. And that music wakes me up. I blend a coffee. I got this kind of coffee in Greece, and it's called a Freddo, Cafe Freddo, and it's blended coffee with a little cream and a little brown sugar, and I blend it, froth it, iced. So I ice the coffee all night. And then I sit down and I journal for 25 to 45 minutes, depending on the day. Then I listen to something motivating on YouTube while I get my clothes on to work out. And then I do about a 45 to an hour workout every morning, 45 to an hour every morning, right here. Trampoline, weights, hula hoop, yoga, every day. And then I start training my clients every day, every day, even when I travel. It's made all the difference. It's made all the difference. I want you to come back to this conversation starter, this column, and we're going to go to the next page, but we're going to skip it, okay, for now. So the next page is jump into the future, dream big. I want to come back to that last, all right? We're going to come back to these next 2 last. So the page after that, if you turn the page, you're going to look at this quote, and it's a Bruce Lee quote, where you write your thoughts about the quote. The quote is, if you always put a limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. So these 2 pages are going to work well together, where you're going to jump into the future and then this Bruce Lee quote, there are no limits. They're going to work well together. We're going to come back to them, okay? Next page, you've got 7 workout logs. You know all about this. You're going to fill those in with your weight workouts, with your cardio workouts, with your stretching and restoration workouts. So, or flexibility modality. Remember, there are 4 modalities of well-being. We've got strength training, cardio training, flexibility training, and rest and relaxation or restoration. And all 4 make up what I call the body of exercise, which I talk about in this book. The body of exercise. All 4. And you blend those however you need to achieve your goals, but you do not skip them. They have to all be somewhere in your day, in your weekly program. So you will see that there are areas for all of them on your log. There are 7 days. I use all 7 days to work out, but I don't lift weights every day. I lift weights 4 to 5 days. I do yoga twice. So I would fill in my cardio all 7, then I would fill in my weights on 5, and then I fill in my flexibility or rest or the flexibility training. My yoga, basically. I would fill that in on the 2 days. All right, we're moving on. You're going to move on to your meals. You've got 7 days on there. 7 days where you write your meals. You know, at the very end, because we've been doing this, we've done this 3 times already. The very end, you have, this week I have reduced. This week I have eliminated. This week I have added. You might have added tofu. You might have eliminated soda. You might have eliminated an extra dessert. So think like that. You might have eliminated pasta this week. You might have added Miracle Noodle, which is a yam noodle. And it's called, the Miracle Noodle brand is the one that I recommend if you're going to use the Miracle Noodle, because there are different brands, and Miracle Noodle is a brand name of the yam noodle. You can get those on Amazon too. Look them up, and the brand is called Miracle Noodle. They're delicious. Rinse them off. You look at the instructions and use those instead of pasta, unless you're in Italy. If you're in Italy, use the pasta. All right, you see the next few pages, vitamins and minerals for the week. You know what to do. The herbs and spices for the weekend, you know what to do. You're going to check them off. I use turmeric, black pepper. I use them together because they're better if they're used together. I love to put garlic on a lot of different foods. Rosemary goes in a lot of different foods. So have fun with that. Experiment with that. Start a little garden, an herb garden in your window in the kitchen. The extra page where I've written in the end of every single week, there's an extra page for you to deepen your well-being. And this week for emotional well-being and creativity. Play. So you see the mirror right there? Every morning when I do my workout, it's solid gold. And if you haven't seen solid gold, Google it. Solid gold is just a whole bunch of entertainers and dancers singing, all right, from the 70s, 80s. I can't remember, 70s or 80s, I can't remember. And I lip sync and work out in this mirror, looking at form and lip syncing all the cuts of my youth for 45 to an hour every day. It brings me so much joy. It's playful. I used to do it when I was young. I do it whenever I have kids, whenever I teach kids. I make them do it. It's the greatest way to build your confidence. It's a good way to memorize things. It's a good way to know yourself, to really see yourself. It's a good way to accept yourself. And I do it every day. It's very playful. Kids love it. So dance in the mirror, have a lip sync party, build a fort. I sleep in a tent. Some of you already know that. Take an exercise class with somebody like me. I crack jokes, and it's like a disco. Seriously, I feel like we're on Soul Train. Go to the circus or an amusement park. Laugh, 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 laugh. That's the next one. Laugh. Watch a funny movie. Go to a comedy club. Watch something funny on YouTube like gorillas. Let me tell you, gorillas are one of my favorite animals and dogs. And when I watch gorilla videos, I am on the floor. Okay? Play charades. It's hilarious. Do karaoke or have a lip sync party, especially with kids. You will be on the floor. Play a game with a child. Visit the zoo. Visit a pet store so that you can watch the animals express themselves. The dogs, especially the Shih Tzus, my favorite. That's my little pumpkin. Yeah. He used to be here, but yeah, I remember him every way that I can. Mr. Porter, my Shih Tzu. He lived 16 years, healthfully. He lived 16 years. So I want you to write ways that you can play. You see there are 3 areas, and I want you to write 3 things that you can do this week that will allow you to laugh. Okay? That's what you're doing this week. You can do that on your own. We're moving on to the last part, which is progress points. You do this every week. You pick 3 areas where you've made progress. 3 areas where this week you've made progress. So you see the bookends, how I want to feel. You do that at the beginning of the week. And then areas where you've made progress, right, in your wellness aims and your life work aims. Every week you will make progress. And then the very last page, you have a space to write about what that progress looks like in your life. This is going to be a capsule your paper coach, that you can come back to as a resource to see what it was like when you went through this 6-week transformation. Now we're going to back up. And do you see what I just did? Some of you know what I just did is I went totally past the extra movement log, the restoration log, and the expansion log. If you've been doing Paper Coach, you know that we have these extra logs where we can check off if we've read a book, how many pages, the name of the book. We can check off if we went hiking, if we played sports, intimacy. We can check off in restoration log if we meditated, what days, how long we sat, or if we went for a walking meditation, we can check that off. If we went to the spa, you can see that. The days you went to therapy. And then you can also see in your expansion if you did some studying of a language or macrame, if you had a date night or you went to the museum on an artist date, the day where you went, you can write in the little box. So that's another thing that you're going to track through each week of your Paper Coach. So look at those. Now, journaling. Our conversation starters, we're going back to the page, Jump into the Future. And I'm going to set you up and leave you to write. We've done this before, Jump into the Future, in Paper Coach. And you will do it over and over and over. This is called visualizing. I need you, let me just reiterate the page after that, where Bruce Lee says, if you always put a limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. If you put a limit, there are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. So with your limitless mind, I want you to imagine a future scenario that you are living. Imagine it now and write it in narrative or bullets, or it doesn't have to make a lot of sense, but I want you to pretend. This is what I want you to do. Pretend you are there in the future that you imagine. And this is encompassing your well-being, that your aim for well-being, your body, health, life, and work. I might right here in a narrative form on these next 2 pages, and maybe even add a page, because I do this all the time, by the way. I'm sitting, my legs crossed, sipping espresso. I've just rubbed the lemon across the rim. I'm wearing white skinny jeans and platform gray boots and a shawl, a very big cape. And I've just taken my hat, I took it off and put it on top of the empty chair. I'm waiting for my love. I'm writing in my journal. The sun is on its way down. We're in Paris for 3 days before we go back to Amsterdam. I told the waitress that I want to have a glass of Chardonnay, and we talked for about 20 minutes because I will go on and on and on. I can see all of this when I'm writing, by the way. What I'm telling you right now, I can see it all in my brain because I do this all the time. Like, I already can see myself. I can see what I'm wearing. I can see where I am. I'm sitting at a round table with this little cup. I can see my hat on the chair. I know when my love is coming at 5:20. I mean, I can see it all. And I'm telling you this. I have done this my entire life since I was a kid. And I have lived all of these imaginings in real life. I think it's been 95% that they've come everything that I've written, because I don't write there. I don't limit myself, but I put myself in the mindset of what I'm willing to be. So I don't write, I'm a head basketball coach. I'm not willing to be a head basketball coach. All right? I'm not willing to be that. I write about what I'm willing to be. That means, what do I do throughout my life? Well, I'm a writer. And I love to travel overseas, and I love Paris, and I love Amsterdam. I'm writing what I'm willing to become, what I'm willing to move toward. And I'm writing what I really want to happen because of the way that I live my life. So I'm writing partial truths already that I'm touching. But I'm writing in a very unlimited mind, which means that I'm touching these things already. Now I want them under my feet. I want them in my mouth. I want to see them in real life. They'll happen. I'm jumping into the future. I do it all the time. And I want you to do it. And that's what you're going to do here. I used to write about my body a lot, right? But now I write about my life work a lot because I've got these rituals for my body that I don't have to worry. I don't worry about my body anymore. I just follow my rituals. And when you get lost with your body, you follow the ritual. And after you followed the ritual that I teach you, you won't worry about your body anymore. You just keep following the ritual. You just keep returning to the resource that has helped you become healthier. You keep returning to it. So now I write about my life. That's what you're going to do. Jump into the future and write your unlimited future. Write it. Write a scenario of a moment in time in your future. And then I want you to write about how it feels. This Bruce Lee quote. How does it feel to hear it? Does it scare you? Can you be unlimited? Can you try to be? Can you be in some way? Where have you been in the past where you've gotten to a plateau and you were able to stay there for a while and then find the tools and the resources and the help from another to help you rise above it? Write about yourself so you become aware of yourself as a resource, and you become aware of your unwavering faith and determination to move and process and touch and believe. I'm going to leave you there. All right, this is big for you to work on, and it's big because this is your wonderful life. I am not exaggerating. This is your wonderful life. I will see you week 6. This is week 5. Enjoy yourselves. I'm so glad you're here, and I support you all day and night. Please subscribe so you don't miss any other videos.